Hey y'all, Natalie here for Shimmerz Paints today, and I'm working with the February 2021 color kits. So we have that awesome pack of dots, a stencil called the Diamond Stencil. We have two brand new colors of sprays. We have the Cloud Wine Vibes and the Age Before Ruby colorings. We have a Pinkaboo Inklings, a Golden Roses Blings, an Angel Wings Shimmerz, and an exclusive cut file, which is Roses, which you'll see here in a minute. There's also a set of rhinestones. So what I have first is I've already put clear gesso on this white cardstock, and I'm just taking my Angel Wings Shimmerz and I'm using a brayer, and I'm braying the entire color all over the entire background. And what this is going to do is just going to give me a base on my cardstock of glitter and shimmer. And I just like that it allowed me to just have a whole nother layer of shimmer on my page. And the brayer did a really great job of applying that color. So while that dries, I have my cardstock. I had already gessoed it before I cut these roses. And I did resize them on my Cricut to 3 different sizes. So I'm going to leave them on my mat after they're cut here. And they've already been gessoed, and I'm going to paint the roses. So I apply my spray onto my glass mat and use a paintbrush to apply it, just because I want to be pretty precise with where the color's going here. So I mixed a little bit of the Angel Wings into the Age Before Ruby colorings, and I'm using that to color one of the smaller roses as well as the middle rose on the trio of roses. And then I'm going to color another one with that lighter color. There is Pinkaboo Inklings, and that one is one I did have to activate with water first. And I'm going to use it again on the trio of roses. And because I have gesso, I can wipe it up there because I accidentally put it over a leaf. And I do plan to incorporate some green into the leaves. And also I'm kind of making the two on the trio of roses, I'm making the colors flow together, so kind of combine into one another. And then that is the Golden Roses Blings that I am putting on that last rose. So I grabbed the Ice Sage that we got in a couple kits back to color my leaves. And it's really pretty. I know it looks kind of white on here, but it does have a very green tint in real life. But then I'm also going to go in with a little bit of olive branch spray, which is a spritz, and add just another layer of green onto the leaves. So I'm going to let that dry, set it aside, let it dry before I attempt to pull it up off of the mat. And just to let you know, I did pull up really well after it was completely dry. So there you can see the brayer background of Angel Wings, and it's so pretty. I love it. So I'm going to start building another layer of background here. So I have this rose stamp set, and I'm using a brayer to apply the spray like a stamping ink. And that's the best way I can find to get a pretty good impression on a stamp with sprays. You can put the spray on and then dip your stamp in it like a pad, but it's not going to give you that clear impression. It's going to have too much ink on the stamp, and it's going to kind of smear. So braying it on is the best way I can think of to do it, and it works really well. I'm happy with how it turned out. So I'm just using a few of the different colors from the kits to stamp these florals, and I used 3 different stamps on the background, and I'm kind of going in a diagonal pattern from the top left down to the bottom right. And yeah, and it doesn't matter if they're perfect, because I am going to go back in and use water to kind of make them look like a watercolor effect. So right here is where I'm showing you. I'm going to use the stencil kind of like a stamp. So I spray it off on this like watercolor paper that I'm using as just scrap paper. And then I just turn it over and use it as a stamp. Just so I want a lighter impression. I don't want to spray directly onto my page. And now I'm going to go in and I'm going to soften up all those hard lines from the edge of the stencil, as well as just add additional water to the stamped images to kind of just create a watercolor effect on some of the images. I want the image to look crisp in some areas, but watercolor in another. I'm really into that kind of distressed look on a page. And because I have the gesso on the page, it allows me to go back in and reactivate all these colors with the water and create that watercolor look. And then, just so you know, it will dry and it won't smudge or anything anymore unless it gets wet again, which hopefully would never happen in my scrapbook. So I'm just going to work with this background a little bit and, like I said, create some watercolor effect and smudge out some of the definition with the stencil and the stamping. And while that dries, I have my cut file here that is completely dry, so I'm going to peel it up off the mat. And it was delicate, but like I said, if you let it dry completely, it comes up nicely. And I used a little scraper tool to kind of get it up. And then that whole page is gessoed, so I decided to use some of it for additional leaves. So I used that olive branch again, and I add some into the woods, I think is what it's called, which is like a hunter green color. And I just kind of let it roll around the page. And I'm just going to run that through my manual die cut machine with some foliage dies to create some additional leaves, as well as I think, so recently, I think it was Maggie Holmes that had these really gorgeous thickers, and they were like, almost looked like die cut golden leaves, but they were thickers, and I can't get my hands on those. So I decided to kind of do a knockoff of my own. So you'll see me do that here in a minute as well. So there's my photo. It's my boys with my parents on Valentine's Day last year, I guess, or a year before. I'm not sure. I'll figure it out before I put it in the scrapbook, huh? And so that was kind of the idea of the layout that I'm going with here. But I do decide that I want to put a background around the edges. So I go with this like gold and black cardstock with gold dots or gold foil, which is cool because that's the same color that I use to cut out my leaves. Like I said, the knockoff Maggie Holmes leaves, because I can't get my hands on those anywhere. So I have this really cute little leaf die, and I used it to cut a gold foil piece of paper to add additional color into my page. So I'm roughing up the edges of my layout here, and there it is. I stick it down and sew around the edges with some black thread. I sewed around twice. And then I have this pink vellum here, and I also did a decorative stitch around the edge of that, just as like a backing piece for my photo. You can still see the flowers through it, which I like. And now I'm just kind of getting everything situated on the page before gluing it down. And I'm going to use one of the dots as part of my title, because flowers come in bunches. My title is going to be I Love You Bunches and Bunches. So I used 2 different gold thickers to create that title. And then I'm going to tie it in through all the rest of the page with the gold leaves that I was discussing earlier. So I started adhering everything down. Because I have gesso and paint all over the page, I definitely need to add a lot of adhesive. I used my Nuvo adhesive, which I'm very happy with. It typically allows everything to stay on my page really well. And then I go through and I do tuck in the additional leaf die cuts that I did in green, and then I go back through and tuck in the ones of the gold that I cut out of the gold metallic paper. And then I'm gonna start gluing down my title, because again, with the gesso and the paint, I'm gonna add additional adhesive, even though they are thickers and have adhesive on the back of them. And while I'm saying this, I'm going to link down below to where you can find your own color kits in the Shimmerz stores, as well as just any other colors you may need to add to your collection. And also, if you mention my name in the comments box when you buy something, you will receive an additional little something. There's also so many cute new cut files in the shop all the time, so make sure to check those out too if you're really into cut files. They're also so versatile, like you can use them as stencils or on your page, or all kinds of ways. So I add an additional floral dot up at the top, and I tuck it under some of the leaves. And now I'm just going to go around and I add these red little pearls from my stash, as well as these gold gemstones around the layout to bring the gold in. But wait, there's more. So after I add the gemstones, I decide that we still need more gold on the page because I didn't incorporate gold into the background so much. So I'm going to cover my photo, and then I grab the Good as Gold inklings and just do a few splatters of that around the page, as well as I grab the Be Right Black Vibes, I think it's a Vibes, from last month's kit, and it has some gold glitter in it, and I use that to do additional splatters because I wanted to bring the black from around the edges into the layout. So that's what I'm doing here. And then we're gonna be done. So I really thank you guys for watching this video. Head over to my blog post and check it out on the Shimmerz blog today. I'll link down below. And let me know if you have any questions. Thanks for watching, y'all. Bye.